You can never have too much power. Introducing the Dynapower drivers from Wilson. Get ready to power up. Very happy to be joined by Harry Nodwell of Wilson Golf, who is here to give us the 411 on these Dynapower drivers. Harry, we have two of them here. We have a titanium driver and a carbon driver. Let's start with the titanium driver.
Yeah, so for the titanium driver, you're going to get more MOI out of it, so that makes it a bit more forgiving, thanks to that 16-gram weight at the back. We've also got a CG location that's not at the back, but we've placed it in that middle. So we get a good middle to high launch with a little bit more spin. However, it's slightly draw biased, so that makes it eliminate that right-hand side of that golf course. So if you slice the golf ball, this one is definitely one that you want to consider.
So that's the titanium. Now, Harry, you have the carbon driver.
Correct. So what is different about the carbon is CG location regarding the placement. So with the titanium, it was a little bit more in the middle. With this, we put the CG location further forward to get that little bit more penetrating ball flight, a little bit lower spin. So if you're a high spin guy, this could be a very good contender for you. Now,
this may be geared more toward the little more advanced player, but really anybody potentially could fit into either of these drivers.
Correct. We don't like putting golfers into a bucket. Okay, so whenever you come and get a fitting, you have to try both of them out and then look at the numbers, and then we'll figure it out from there.
Wilson, in recent years, hasn't really been known for its driver game, but this is really a step forward back into the spotlight, isn't it?
Exactly, and we are becoming a contender in the industry. We want to be a premium product brand. We don't want to just be a Wilson brand that has golf clubs. We are pushing the boundaries, and trust me, behind the scenes, we are pushing technology as well.
That's great. They look great now. Let's see how they perform. We're going to bring in our Director of Instruction, Kyle Gordon. He's going to put them to the test.
All right, so I've hit some with the competitive 2023 driver. I'm going to put both the Dynapower carbon and titanium to the test against them to see how it goes. All right, so first set done with the carbon. Now we're going to try the titanium. So we've got the numbers behind us here of a head-to-head comparison of a baseline driver that I set with your two new drivers here. What do the numbers tell you?
For you personally, I would be putting you in the carbon. You get that better ball speed, the better launch, and it does exactly what it wants. We get those consistent dispersion as well as comparable ball speeds.
Okay, so we are talking a lot about fitting and hearing a lot about fitting these days. So there's a 6-way adjustable hosel on this driver.
Yep.
What can we do with that adjustment?
So you can go up 2 and then down 1. So you can really dial in your game by just tinkering around with that hosel setting.
So I felt pretty comfortable with this setup, you know, small sample size. I think the numbers here speak to hitting a few different shafts and heads, seeing one of our master club fitters at a golf town near you, and really dialing you in for this next season.
Okay, Kyle, your final impressions of the Dynapower drivers from Wilson.
Right, Hugh. So as advertised, you know, these drivers are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. We got the titanium driver with a little bit more draw bias, seeing me over to the right-hand side as a lefty. So any slicer should be playing that driver. We moved into the carbon driver, and this thing is keeping up pound for pound with my normal ball speeds. This thing is doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
So they can compete with the biggest names in drivers.
Exactly. It feels good and looks good, and you know what? It's got some shelf appeal to it. This carbon pops when you set it down.
All right, so those are the Dynapower drivers. Let's talk about the Dynapower irons from Wilson.
Yeah, so this is a great iron that is in the game improvement category, where it's very forgiving. It's going to help you if you're inconsistent hitting the ball all over the face. It's got the power holes in the bottom of the blade, so when you hit the ball low on the face, it'll help the face flex to get the ball up in the air.
And by the way, astronaut Alan Shepard hit the OG version of this on the moon. You don't have to go all the way to the moon to hit Dynapower irons. Just go to Golf Town.